You may know filmmaker Chris Columbus from writing such classics as Gremlins and The Goonies, or even directing films like Adventures in Babysitting, Mrs. Doubtfire, Home Alone, and even the first two Harry Potter movies. Now he's serving as producer on a new film called The Young Messiah, which explores the 7-year-old life of Jesus Christ.
His star has been seen. He will deliver us.
You seek a family from Nazareth with a boy named Jesus.
Lord Father in heaven, guide me on this path.
Now joining me is none other than Chris Columbus. Chris, hello.
Hey, Jeff.
Greetings from Las Vegas.
Great to talk to you.
I'm telling you, Chris, I'm so excited. I'm just giddy because I'm such a fan of yours. I followed all your work ever since Young Sherlock Holmes all the way until The Young Messiah. I followed you ever since my early days of film school.
Oh, thank you so much. You went to film school?
Yes, I went to film school at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, UNLV. I was the very first class in the early 90s.
Oh, fantastic. That's great. I'm a big supporter of film schools. People are always like, do you have to go to film school? And I'm like, you have to go to film school. I just think it's important to have that sense of history.
Well, this was way back in the day when we used film. I mean, I had to put 16 millimeter film in a Bolex with a darkroom bag and hanging trims and on a big Steenbeck editing, and it was all old school. Now it's all digital. You know, it's ridiculous. I go back and visit the school now, and it's like I'm an analog man in a digital world.
I know. We have an independent film company, and all the young filmmakers we work with are obsessed with using film. 3 of the films that we produced in this independent film company, they all shot on film. They just wanted to shoot on 16, so it's still alive somewhere.
Now, for your new film, The Young Messiah, even though this is a faith-affirming film, this is a story of Jesus as a 7-year-old, and the Bible has no accounts of Jesus as a child. So did you have to walk a fine line because you're basically kind of guessing what Jesus' life was as a child? Did you have a lot of advisors surrounding you?
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, this was initially a book by Anne Rice that was a bestseller. It was initially called Christ the Lord, and the director, Cyrus, brought it to our production company. And like any other project, we didn't really fall in love with it because it was faith-based. We fell in love with the story. I just thought it was a fascinating time that has not been dealt with on film. And you've got this special year in the life of Jesus when he's 7 years old, coming to terms with who he is. Not only as a human being, but who he is with these powers and ability. And I just wanted to tell that story. I thought it was a great story. At the same time, because it's not based on any specific part of Scripture, we surrounded ourselves with a team of religious advisors, people who could come in and actually, guide us so we wouldn't step in any puddles. And we even had an advisor from the Vatican as well. And it paid off because the response to the film has been extraordinarily positive from the religious community, and so that was important. As important as it is to make a good film, and a film that moves people, that transports you to another place.
I'm guessing it was definitely a challenge to find the right child actor to play the young Messiah.
It was interesting because I've had some experience in the past with Harry Potter and Home Alone, and trying to find that perfect kid for the movie. With Adam, it was interesting. We found him fairly early on, and it was his audition that sort of blew me away. Usually I've seen kids who don't have a lot of experience, and they actually learn the craft of acting while we're on the set. Well, Adam came totally prepared. Here was a kid who could on his first audition, did an entire scene without breaking character. And I was blown away by that. Plus he had this sort of haunted quality in his eyes and in his face that really felt appropriate for this role. So we were very lucky to get him.
The boy was here!
Did you do that?
Yes,
Who are you?
you saved me once before.
Who was you?
Sean Bean was excellent as the Roman soldier that was on the hunt for Jesus as a child, and I thought his commanding performance was just like the total opposite and balance of the young Messiah.
Sean Bean is one of my favorite actors, and we've worked together a couple of times, and I just love the amount of, he can take one line and give it 16 layers of complexity, and he's a deep guy on screen, and I admire that about him. He's fascinating to watch.
Now, the last time somebody did a movie, The Life of Jesus, and kind of dramatized it, Martin Scorsese did The Last Temptation of Christ. There was all this controversy because he portrayed Jesus as a man with desires and emotions. Did you have to also take that into consideration doing The Young Messiah? We have Jesus as a boy, and we know what kind of trouble they can get into.
Yeah, and I think there is a certain, we did have a beautiful script by Cyrus, which was based on the book, and it was just a matter of dealing with it. That's when I talk about the religious advisors, dealing with how much of Jesus' humanity can we deal with without and still maintaining some sort of respectability. We walked a fine line, which is what was fascinating to me about the character. Here's a 7-year-old boy who's dealing with this, and his parents need to come to terms with it. As a parent myself, they were in tremendous amount of pain because their child was not only just your typical 7-year-old boy, but he had these powers, these abilities, and at some point in the movie they have to deal with telling him exactly, and not being too specific, it's still a bit of a gray area, but why he is this sort of special kid.
The movie looks phenomenal. The cinematography, the sets. You shot this movie in Italy, right?
We shot it in Matera, Italy, and in Rome at Cinecittà Studios. Much of it was shot in Matera, is also where Mel Gibson shot Passion of the Christ as well. It's a stunning, beautiful hillside town that's been kind of untouched by anything modern. So you can actually go in there into the town, and without much work, you can actually shoot in almost any direction.
Hey, Chris, I got to tell you, for my 21st birthday, my parents bought me a block of Silver Screen Partners, which was the Disney Touchstone financing thing. And I was a producer on your very first film you directed, Adventures in Babysitting. So I thought, just let you know that you did a good job.
Oh, well, thank you. I haven't seen that movie in a while, but I'll look for your name in the credits.
Well, you're not going to find my name in the credits. I wasn't that kind of producer. I was just a silent investor, but it was still a great thrill to contribute that way to your career.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you. Thanks for starting my career.
Plus, also always win with trivia. What was Pixar's first animated sequence? It was in Young Sherlock Holmes.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's today that sequence would probably take about 4 days to do, and I think it took 6 to 8 months or something. It was remarkable.
Well, Chris, good luck with Young Messiah. Total thrill talking today. If you ever come to Vegas, we got to have lunch.
Oh, thank you so much. I'll be there.
All right, thanks a lot, Chris. Take care. All right, for more reviews and interviews, you can surf on over to my website at vegasfilmcritic.com. Check out my podcast on iTunes. And if you like what you see, which I hope you do, please subscribe, comment below, thumbs up. I'm Jeffrey K. Howard. I'll see you next time.